Who knows?
And we're live, everybody.
We are live. We are live.
Welcome to a very special happy half hour, our special holiday grab bag happy half hour. I'm Sam Shukavage, and with me is my father and president of Carolina Retirement Planners, David Shukavage. And also with us, as always, is the incomparable Amy Dresky, our director of client fun, working tirelessly behind the scenes, putting us all to shame with her holiday cheer today.
Well, it's holiday grab bag. I have to, right? Gotta be ridiculous. It's like my middle name. I mean, it should be. It's not, but it really should be. Oh.
I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. It brings me so much joy.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad somebody loves it. I'm just doing something for somebody. So.
And for those of you who don't know, which you may be, if any of you tune in every week, you may guess this, but you may not know this. Amy actually showed me several options for holiday headgear today. So the antlers were not her only choice. She had several options as to how to.
They weren't. No, yeah, which is actually really silly if you think about it. No, I had many options, but no, this is what
you have them all there. You could come on periodically with something new.
Yeah, right. I'll have like wardrobe changes in between. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I always say.
Really pushing me, testing me here.
You know what I always say? Diversity is the spice of life, except of course in marriage where monotony rules.
Aww.
Sorry. Anyway.
Well, we like diversity in my marriage. So, but I guess we're still young and fresh and,
It's not exactly what I meant, but okay. Hey, we have another guest.
Oh, you mean monogamy?
Oh yeah, that's what I meant.
Monogamy.
I get them confused.
Monogamy does.
Sometimes you can get them confused, we have another special guest. Many of you have met this guest before, but this guest keeps growing. And so we thought we'd bring on, why don't you come around this side? This is Kristin, who is our director of first impressions. And who is this, Kristin?
This is Tiberius. He's about 5 months now and about 45 pounds as opposed to the 6 when we picked him up.
Oh my!
They used to be like this big, and now. But I thought we'd.
Oh, Tiberius. Oh.
My goodness.
Hi, Tiberius. Oh, he's so sweet.
Hi.
I haven't even seen that one yet, Amy.
No, I got so many you don't even know. It's silly. It's so silly.
That wasn't even one of the options you showed me.
Well,
between the dog and the Santas, I'm feeling the holiday spirit right now.
Uh-oh, my wife is listening. She said I heard that. That's not good. She should be used to that joke. I use that joke all the time, I love monogamy. But anyway, and Randy is here, and Alexandra has said hi and happy holidays. Dan and Barb from up in the mountains have joined us, and John is here as well. He likes the pup, and I know he has his own very special pup, bloodhounds actually, that professional bloodhounds. And James and is here. And
happy holidays to you, James.
Robert says cool dog. Ed. What we're going to do a grab bag today. We've got a list of questions people have sent in, and we're going to kind of do a quick go through to answer some that you may not have answer those short questions we don't get to, or maybe we need to revisit briefly. So we're going to do that here in a minute or two. But we always like to start out too with what day it is.
Yeah.
And, it's a good day. So today is actually National Chocolate Covered Anything Day. Anything.
Oh my gosh, you have reindeer. Those are so cute.
You put the challenge on. But yes, no, it is National Chocolate Covered Anything Day. Anything goes. Let's do it. I mean, all right. Yeah.
My favorite is, we talked about this earlier. My favorite is either chocolate covered pretzels or old school throwing away back chocolate covered raisins. I'm a huge fan of the Raisinets or the fancy Raisinets at the movie theater. And
almonds work good too. Peanuts.
you know what's really interesting is there's a bottle shop down on Carolina Beach, and they did an event where they did chocolate dipped wine bottles, but they would take, it was a gift. You could actually take your bottle of wine, they would wrap it in plastic. So it wasn't like you were dipping the thing that people's hands were all over. So it was dipped in plastic, and then they would dip wrapped in plastic, then they would dip the plastic in chocolate, and like a hardening chocolate with like sprinkles and stuff. And you could give that. So it would be a gift of a bottle of wine with chocolate. So I thought that was awesome.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah. I missed the event, and I'm wondering if what I need to do to like get in on that.
Well, Bart has joined us. Rick and Marcy are here. Patrick is here. And
Ed is drinking Evan Williams eggnog.
ooh, that sounds like it's got some potential.
I'm speaking.
Want that? Why don't I have that? I have more, but I'm gonna cut it out now. I'm done. I mean,
you keep going. It's just
Keep going. I want to see how many
folks
we can talk in here. This is 4. Are we at 4 now?
Yeah. I'm amusing myself.
And Sally, it's good to see you.
And speaking of marriage and monogamy and monotony, I'm actually drinking from Trophy Brewing, their Trophy Wife Pale Ale. It's or a session IPA.
I got one of those.
Yeah, I told my husband that I bought this just so he could keep, could remember what he's got. So.
Okay, well, let's start with the show, Sam. We got to get down to business.
Stop that.
We got to get down to business.
You're right.
And I see Robert has joined us.
Yeah, you are right. We've got a lot of questions that have come in throughout the year that we have either not had a chance to answer, or we thought is worth going back and readdressing. So do you want to get started?
Let's go.
All right. So Dad, can you roll the RMD? Oh, this one I feel like every question, and we should do anytime we talk about Roth conversions, RMDs, or any kind of grab bag. Can you roll your RMD into a Roth after paying taxes on the distribution? Basically,
you know the answer to that one. What's the answer?
The answer is no.
No.
You can do a Roth conversion, but it has to be after your RMDs. Your RMDs cannot be a part of your Roth.
At age 72, they're going to make you take out about 3.6% of all your RMD, IRA, 401k, or 403b money. And you got to pay tax on it, and then you got to put it in the taxable world. You can't no longer move it to a Roth where it'll grow tax-free. That's why those years between when you retire and when you hit 72 are the golden years for doing conversions. Don't think you're gonna convert those RMDs. No. IRS says no.
Mm-hmm. You can convert on after you take your RMDs.
Above that amount, but by that time it might drive you into a higher tax bracket. And if you go back through our old happy half hours or go to rogo.com, there's lots of explanations of that too.
Yeah, you always want to take your RMDs first. That's the first thing you do every year. And after that, anything else would be.
Yeah, that's another interesting rule. You can't do the Roth conversion first and then the RMD. The first money out of your IRA is by definition the RMD. So many that's why we study under Ed Slott. There's so many rules. You always want to talk to someone that's licensed, that's a professional license before you make changes, because there's a lot of gotchas.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's the next question is, say I have a 401k and it's still active. I'm still employed. I'm still putting money in. does it fit into my RMD situation if I am of RMD age? So if I were 72, still working and had a 401k with that company.
And the answer is probably not. And the probably is this. In most companies, if you have a 401k and you're putting money into it and you're still employed, even though you're beyond 72, you don't have to take RMDs on the money that's coming out. However, that requirement is up to the plan. So most plans allow it, but you always want to call personnel and make sure that your plan says, no, you can delay them further. So
Okay.
what's next?
Somebody wants you to touch briefly on, or touch on, if we could talk about a non-spousal inherited IRA. Somebody in this instance, they have a mother who passed away. So this would be if somebody other than your spouse passed away and left money to you.
Okay, there's a multitude of, there's a lot of ways, a lot of rules here, but here's the two
It's
general.
gotten very complicated after
Very
the
complicated.
Secure Act.
Here's the two general rules.
Mhm.
Before the Secure Act, which I think kicked in 2020, if they died before the Secure Act was in effect, you have to take RMDs out of your mother's IRA or this inherited IRA, but you can take them based upon your life expectancy.
Yeah,
a
there's
few
a
percent a
chart.
year. After the Secure Act, you've got to take all, and you're not a spouse, you got to take all the money out in 10 years. And
With very few exceptions.
with very few exceptions. However, there are exceptions. For instance, if you leave it to your brother or sister and they are less than 10 years, they could be older than you, they may still be able to take it out over their life expectancy. Although generally when they leave it to someone, now it's all got to come out quickly. So when you get an inherited IRA, talk to someone to make sure there's not a rule exception, that you know exactly what you can do.
Mhm.
But generally everyone was locked in prior to Secure, and it's a new world after.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And isn't there going to be a new RMD table after? Well, no, we can talk about that later. But with the 10-year rule, you can take it out as in any way that you'd like over that 10 years. Did you say that already?
We
You
didn't
could
say
take it
that.
out. You could take it out evenly throughout the 10 years. You could take it out all in the last year. You just have, it's important to take some time to look at the implications that it will have on your taxes.
And there's another rule here. If you're leaving money to your kids or grandkids in an IRA and you've converted it to a Roth, now they inherit the Roth. It's growing tax-free, it comes out tax-free. They can leave it in there for a full 10 years and get 10 more years of tax-free growth, and then take it all out on the 11th hour tax-free and then move it into the taxable world. There's another reason why Roth conversions can be good, not just for you, but for generations to come.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I have one question. 6. I like that one. I like the stripes on it. This one I've got kind of an incomplete question. I think that we copied and pasted this a little incompletely. So I see the answer, but I'm trying to figure out the best
Go
way
ahead
to
and read what it says. I'll know what it
All right.
means.
Okay. I know we now have until age 72 before we must take money out of our IRAs. So, the RMD age went from 70 and a half to 72.
But the question is, can I delay it even further? Can I wait till I'm 73? And this is an interesting twist. And I think it's actually meant to get you to pay more in taxes.
I think so too.
At age 72, you got to take out about 3.6% now. you can wait to April 1st of the next year, not April 15th, but April 1st, and take it out then, as late as then. However, you're still going to owe another RMD in that year. So by the end of that year, you're going to have to take another 3.6%. So if you're not careful, it'll just drive you into a higher tax bracket by waiting. In all the years that we've been helping folks, I only remember one case where it made sense to do that, and that was because the gentleman was still getting deferred comp from his job, and he was still making lots of money that year. He turned, at that time, 70 and a half, and so it made sense for him to delay it to the next year when the deferred comp went away. So, but don't think delaying it longer is the smart thing to do. It's probably just going to mean more in taxes. Unless you have a twist.
Next question, and I think we kind of covered this, but it's worth driving this home. Does the new 10-year RMD rule, because of the Secure Act, apply to a spouse, or does it only apply to a non-spouse recipient?
Well, you tell us that, Sam.
In general, the spouse is not subject to the 10-year rule. They typically, what they would do is roll it into their own IRA. But they do have some options as to how they would assume it. But for most people, they would decide.
You know, sometimes I like to, rather than get you to memorize the rules, I like you to memorize the opportunities or the pitfalls. And there are two ways for a spouse to inherit an IRA. One is they can roll it into their own, and another is it's the way you title the beneficiary. They can inherit it, and it can remain their deceased spouse's IRA, but they've inherited. It's just the wording. If you do that second one, they can take money out of it without paying a penalty, even if they're under 59 and a half. So if you know someone, or your spouse is ill, and you think they may pass before you're 60 or 59 and a half, you want to inherit it the right way, give you the options to use that money. And once you turn 59 and a half, you can convert it to your own. But it's just a little twist in there that a lot of people don't know about. And there's nothing worse than, gosh, 55-year-old person who's 55, their spouse dies, they take their IRA as enrolled into their own, and now they need the money, and then they got to pay a 10% penalty. So just another little lesson there.
All right, moving on to the next. So Medicare premiums are increased automatically, I believe, based on your gross adjusted income. The premium increase automatically reduces your monthly Social Security income payments. In subsequent years, if your income is reduced, will the Medicare premium automatically reduce? And if so, is there a delay in the premium reduction?
Okay, and the
sorry, I kind of stumbled over that.
I know I actually copied the question rather than rephrasing it, but you know, how much you pay on Part B Medicare depends on how much you make. And it depends on your modified adjusted gross income, not your taxable income, that's after deductions, not your adjusted gross income, but a modified adjusted gross income that includes things like money from muni bonds, tax-free bonds. So the amount you earn this year on this modified adjusted gross income will determine your Medicare premium 2 years from now. So every year they recalculate your how much you pay for Medicare Part B, how much is deducted from Social Security, and they based upon the income 2 years ago. If you have a really good year and you bring this money in and it goes up, it should go down the next year when it goes down. This is particularly important in Roth conversions, because it isn't just the tax bracket you're in, it's the additional, comes out to about 1.5 to 1.8% in total additional tax on the at least per person for Medicare for that amount. So it's really good to know if you're under 63 and you want to do a bunch of conversions. It's really nice to get them done before you're 63, so you don't have this extra tax that bites you. So that's kind of the thing. We have some clients who are like in their 50s who are, man, we're converting a whole bunch at once so we can get it out of the way before we have the extra. They call it IRMA, income and related to, anyway. So it's 2-year delay and it readjusts every year. And it's another one of those gotchas that you got to watch out for.
Mm-hmm. All right. So next question. I guess a couple of months ago, one of the things that you mentioned was that when a spouse passes away and their home is sold, it is taxed differently. They couldn't remember exactly what you said, but it had something to do with when the house was purchased, and they're hoping that you can clarify and give suggestions on how they could do this without major taxation.
If you buy your house at one value and you sell it at a much higher value, that's a capital gain. And we each get, if we've lived in the house 2 of the last 5 years generally, we each get a $250,000 reduction, or they wipe away $250,000 each. So a married couple can sell a house for $500,000 more than they bought it from, and they end up with no tax being paid. If your spouse dies, you have 2 years to sell the house and still use their deduction. So it's something to think about. Now, and it's more than we can explain here, but at the same time, you get a stepped up in basis on half the house's value when your spouse dies. So even if you miss it, it's not as bad as it seems. But if you're thinking about moving out anyway, 2 years will probably save you some money.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow. That was a great question. That was a good one to circle back to.
We just had someone recently we're helping with that. I forget. Anyway.
Okay. What is the best option with when it comes to a rental property or second home, investment property, or inheritance? And of these options, what do they think are what do they think is the best action and why? Number one, let it fully depreciate and transfer it through a will or trust to your heirs or to an heir. Number two, sell the rental before your death and pay taxes on the depreciation and capital gains. Or three, transfer property before death to your heirs.
Okay, this is one that is dependent on many things. From a strict tax standpoint, it makes a lot of sense to say, I'm going to wait till I die. And, say you bought a bunch of apartment buildings 30 years ago and they're appreciating. You say, I'm going to wait to die to pass that on to my kids. Because at least under the current law, they would get a stepped up basis and there'd be no tax on the capital gains and depreciation on the building, which could be huge over the years. The thing you got to ask yourself is, okay, let's say you're 70 now. When you're 95, are you going to want to be managing? Are you the active manager of that property? You're going to want to be managing it then? Sitting in your nursing home, calling up plumbers to fix the toilets. Do you have the capability of doing that? Could you pass that responsibility onto the kids, or would they be lost? Is that property going to be is that going to be good in 30, 20 years? You may just say, hey, it's time to cut to the chase, sell it, and get out. It's based upon many things. You really don't want to transfer the property to your heirs before your death, because one, you're going to have to worry about gift tax and filing gift tax returns. And two, they're going to then probably get it at the original basis, and they'll pay capital gains tax on it anyway. It'd be better for them to manage it for you till you die than you to pass it to them if you can manage it. So a lot of dynamics come into play on a question like this.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got two more. We can just squeeze them in.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, so we're going to switch gears a little bit here. And so this question is really, they want to understand the difference between mutual funds and ETFs, along with, you know, some of the advantages and disadvantages of each. Now, I think we could probably do a whole happy half hour on this topic, but how fast?
Actually, let's skip that one. Let's go to the last two. We don't have enough time for that one.
Yeah, I think that might make a.
We should do that. We have already done that recently, but we should do that separately. Let's get the last two are shorter and sweeter.
Okay. We get this one a lot. Do you have, you know, we talk a lot about converting IRAs to Roth, but what about contributing to your Roth? You know, can you contribute money to your Roth if you're not earning money?
And what's the answer to that?
The answer is no. You can only contribute earned income, like wages. It can't be investment income. It can't be rental income. It has to be earned income.
Pretty much you got to have a W-2 to get in there.
Yeah, and you can't contribute more than you've earned.
However, if you've got an existing IRA, 401k, 403b, 457 TSP, whatever, you can convert that to a Roth. So most people have something out there in IRA kind of money, and they can convert pretty much as much as they want without any rules and without many rules and regulations to a Roth. So really, it doesn't really stop most people for doing that. So
yeah,
we got one more.
All right.
Now, while she's preparing that, let me just say, you know, we've given a lot of advice here. You really want to talk to your tax professional, your investment advisor before you go make a change, because it's complicated and we're kind of skipping stones across the big questions. So always check with someone, because boy, you have no idea the twists and turns. And also the tax code and all this stuff's written in pencil. So by the time it happens to you, it could be different. So anyhow, last question.
Yep, absolutely.
I like that.
This is not individualized advice. This is broad. We are answering this on very broad terms. Are IPOs a good investment? And if you're looking at them, how do you go about evaluating them? How do you go about figuring out which one to pick? How do you choose?
Well, IPO is an initial public offering. And that's where a company says, hey, well, I'm gonna sell stock to the public. I'm gonna go public. And you know, boy, there have been some really good opportunities there, but then there's been a whole bunch that have completely failed. So it's a very risky investment. And so you really need to look at it. You want to put money in there that you can afford to kind of lose all of it. Now, how do you do that? What's the way to do it? I'll tell you what we do for clients who fall under the accredited investor rule, which means that basically they got more than $1 million that they can invest. We have a fund, a special fund that actually invests in pre-IPOs. They go out and look at companies that are looking to become an IPO, and they invest in them even before that. And it is our way to do it. So we have some experts out there figuring out who's the best candidate. But even then, there's a delay between when you put the money in and when that money gives a good return, because you know there is pre-IPO, there may be some time. So you really got to be careful doing it, and that's the way we do it. We have a group that does this professionally, if you will. So okay. Well, we have one last thing. while you're getting that ready, I think we see that Jay and Carter are here. Bruce is here. Barbara, she says Merry Christmas. And
I like that one.
Bill is here. So listen, thank you for joining us, everybody. It has been, Amy, we are off the next 2 weeks, right?
Yes, we are.
You know, the next 2 weeks are like right on the cusp of Christmas and New Year's. So we may run something fun to watch, but it won't be live.
Amy, come back on. I want to see your hat. I want to see your
Oh,
hat.
I put these on. You want my hat?
You're doing some fast changes there.
So,
And okay, wait, time out. Amy, a very important question for anybody who actually watched our video that we sent out by email this morning.
Yeah.
I know that everyone's dying to know what actual happy half hour we're on.
I was hitting the eggnog early. This is week number 75, not 78.
75.
Yes, 75.
I know that everybody was waiting with bated breath to know,
I know,
what our
yeah.
actual happy half hour was. We are on 75.
It was early, and I was, I shouldn't be hitting the sauce so early. I don't know what I was thinking. It happens. It's December. I was like, well, yeah.
But you hold your liquor like a champ, baby. You're doing a great job.
Yeah. It's the antlers, it's what it is.
Well, it is time for our favorite part of the evening. It is our wine drawing. And to get your name in my jar, all you have to do is if you're a member of Facebook, or I don't know if you call it a member, I don't know. If you're on Facebook and you have like a subscribe, if you're on
Facebook has sucked you in.
If Facebook has sucked you in and you have a login, you can we have an event every week, and you'll just like click going, and we'll automatically register you. And if you share that event with some friends, we'll give you another entry. If you are on our email list, we'll let you know throughout the week what our happy half hour topic is going to be. And if you respond to that email and let us know what your favorite thing to dip in chocolate is, or what a future topic you'd like to see is, or just say enter me into the wine drawing, we will get you back in this jar as well. And if you forward the email to a friend and let us know, we will give you another entry as well. So you could actually get your name in here up to 4 times, and people have. So
We really have, yes.
and it's paid off for them. So
This is the one you like? This one?
Our winner this week of 2 bottles of wine shipped directly to your door from Fermental Bottle Shop. They are currently located in Ogden, soon to be located in the Cargo District in downtown Wilmington. A great spot, no matter where they are. Our winners this week are Debbie and Jean S. So congratulations.
Congratulations, Debbie.
Congratulations.
You are our wine winners. And as my dad said, we did look at the next 2 weeks, and while Christmas Eve or Christmas Day does not fall on a Thursday, Thursday's Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. And we just kind of figured that y'all probably have better things to do than to sit here and watch us. And you're probably going to be spending it with family, or frantically, furiously preparing to spend it with family, or doing something really important.
We're
So
sitting there drinking in anticipation of family.
furiously drinking in anticipation. So we thought we would give y'all a break for the next 2 weeks, but we will be coming back at you. Oh goodness, what day?
Next year. We'll see you next year.
Next year.
First Thursday in January.
Now, I will say I might have something a little special that I'm going to post 4:30 for the next 2 Thursdays, because it's what I do.
And Amy, you may want to check in for what she's come up with.
I might have something a little kooky in there.
Yeah.
You never know. I got tricks in this hat. You never know.
So you can still have some fun.
Yes.
But thanks y'all for making 2021 a great year here with us. We appreciate every one of you for tuning in with us all year, and we can't wait to see you in 2022.
I know.
Cheers,
Excited.
everybody.
Cheers. Take care.
See you next
Bye-bye.
year.
See you next year.